Chris, what is our fourth main topic today?
This comes from Impending Doom.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I see what you did there. Good morning, everyone. There's been a heavy buzz recently regarding Dr. Doom being the potential villain of Black Panther 2 and being the one who orchestrated the war between Wakanda and Talocan. A recent report by The Hollywood Reporter also highlights how Black Panther 2 leaves opening for Doom to appear, while also emphasizing Tenoch Huerta's claim of Namor not being the villain of the film. For me, John, Doom is perhaps the greatest villain in Marvel Comics, and to see him in the MCU will be an experience unlike any seen before. Is the stage being set for Doom's arrival in Black Panther 2? Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that, Impending Doom. And of course, you're right. The Namor actor did come out and say that, Namor's not a villain, he's an anti-hero. And we've seen many movies that the anti-hero has been the antagonist. So it's not so much as being a villain, you just need a protagonist and you need an antagonist. And sometimes the antagonist is also a good guy. I mean, that sometimes is the case. But there have been a lot of talk about maybe Dr. Doom popping up in this thing. And to which I've always had a degree of skepticism about that, because really, what would be the narrative purpose of that? I mean, Rob, you've often pointed out, well, I mean, as a world leader, he could appear at the funeral of T'Challa. That could make sense, maybe a post-credit scene. But there is a major trade, not Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart. The Hollywood Reporter has put out an article where they suggest that Doom, they don't say it outright, but that Dr. Doom will be the villain of this particular movie. Now, this comes to us, of course, from the Hollywood Reporter, who write the following. T'Challa and Namor straddle the line of king and superhero and king and anti-hero, respectively. But there also exists a third point of comparison. The exact same Black Panther run by Priest that introduced the conflict between T'Challa and Namor, a third monarch waged war in the two kingdoms, Dr. Doom, as king and villain. So we had king and superhero, king and antihero, and king and villain. Doom is yet another look at what the throne means. And in this instance, when it is truly a symbol of self rather than a nation. Yet, Doom's Latveria in the comics is a peaceful nation, one in which its residents have little to worry about and aren't ever forced to fight in the wars of their ruler. No one is as broken as Doom, yet by Namor's estimation, does that make him a great leader? While purely speculative, Huerta's comments about not being the villain and the theme of Wakanda Forever illuminated by the recent trailer suggest that Doom may play a role in this epic clash of nations. And that again comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. Okay, here's why I think this is so interesting. Lots of but nobody YouTube channels and blogs and podcasts like the John Campea show, we'll do speculative things. Hey, what are the chances? I could do a video of what are the chances that Dr. Doom is in this movie, right? We do YouTube channels like myself and others. We make those all the time because it's fun to talk about. You know who doesn't generally do those types of articles? Variety, Hollywood Reporter. And there have been several instances in the past where outlets like The Wrap or Deadline or the Hollywood Reporter have made an article like this and it turned out was totally true and all that kind of stuff. Now, look, let me be very clear here with everybody. I am not sitting here pronouncing that this article written in the Hollywood Reporter and this section of it that we just read is definitive proof that Dr. Doom is in this movie. I am not saying that. I am not claiming that at all. However, I am simply raising a flag that says, you know what, the Hollywood Reporter doesn't generally do stuff like this. And there have been examples of when they and other outlets like them have, and it's turned out that they actually had some inside information and started laying some groundwork. So even for somebody like me, who has been skeptical about totally possible that Dr. Doom, but I've been skeptical. I admit it. I've been skeptical that Dr. Doom would appear in this film. And if it was, it would be something tiny like an unimportant post-credit scene, or maybe they just give a wink with him being Latveria is represented at T'Challa's funeral. Maybe. But this, combined with the logic that they put in here of Huerta mentioning that, hey, Namor's not the villain. I mean, I think even if you're like me and you've been skeptical, you've got to go, all right, I smell a little bit of smoke. I mean, to me, this raises the chances of Doctor Doom not just appearing, but maybe even being something of a significant character in this movie. Of course, one of the big things that works against that is the fact that how on earth would they have been able to keep this absolutely secret? Because with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire appearing in Spider-Man No Way Home, those reports came out like a year and a half before the movie came out. Like there were those reports and those stories going around like a year and a half before the movie came out. With this, nothing. Now, Marvel's been getting better and better at keeping all this kind of stuff under wraps. So I got to imagine a lot of people would be very excited at this notion. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Amazon Pharmacy. I don't know about you, but when I need to go to the drugstore, I always seem to wait till the last minute, hoping that they'll be open, or I get stuck in a line, or both. And that's why I love Amazon Pharmacy. Yes, that Amazon. Amazon Pharmacy delivers a better pharmacy experience that delivers directly to your door and works with most insurance plans. Amazon Pharmacy helps you save time, save money, and stay healthy. They have transparent pricing, so you know what you'll pay before you pay it. That is clutch. As an added bonus, Prime members can save up to 80% on their prescriptions. And like I mentioned earlier, Amazon Pharmacy works with most insurance plans. And if you ever have any questions or problems, real pharmacists are always available at Amazon Pharmacy, no matter the time of day or night. A pharmacy that works for your life, with meds delivered to your door. It doesn't get any better than that. Switch to Amazon Pharmacy and save time, save money, and stay healthy. Learn more at amazon.com/Campea. That's amazon.com/Campea. Average savings based on usage and Inside RX data as compared to cash prices. Average savings for all generics are 78%, 37% for select brand medications. Restrictions apply. Rob, let me start with you on this. How big of a deal do you think we should be making out of this article in the Hollywood Reporter and what they're proposing here to us? And where does that leave you as far as your thoughts on, does Doctor Doom appear in this movie? And a totally separate question is Doctor Doom the villain? Because just appearing and being the villain are two very different things. How do you see this?
Well, I've always said that I'm really interested in the geopolitics that this movie is going to give us, because it's post-blip. You have another emerging secret civilization coming out onto the world stage. I was under the impression that they're doing so because Wakanda going public has pissed them off. That's why they want revenge or something. But even I'm like, but that doesn't seem, they could have just stayed.
That has to be part of the reason. There has to be something else.
They could have stayed secret. So I'm really interested to see. I mean, even this, obviously, there's beef between them for whatever reason.
Yes.
And I would assume that they already know each other. I would assume that the Talocan civilization and Wakanda, they've either shared technology or they're rivals or something.
Or they have an uneasy truce.
Or there's sexual tension.
Or sexual tension.
Could be there too. You just never know. I have no idea. But if they're ever going to introduce, I mean, the fact that Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom, is a world leader makes it very plausible that he would be a player in this movie. I do not think that we are going to see him, if he is in this movie, in the traditional armor. I don't think that he's going to be walking around that way. I mean, the cast, the people making this movie, they didn't even have to call him Dr. Doom. They could just call him Victor. And he was, we don't know who was cast in this film. It's like when they made Star Trek Into Darkness. They're like, no, Benedict Cumberbatch is playing a character named John Harrison. We're all like, oh, really? He's not Khan? And they played that game up until the film was released. They're not even playing this game because it's something people aren't even paying attention to because of Chadwick Boseman's passing.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect way. I mean, I could see Marvel doing this. I hope it's true. I want it to be true.
But do you think it is?
Do I think it is?
Over under.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because I've always said, even that scene where she's addressing whatever that committee is.
I think it's the UN, but I don't know.
Yeah, whatever that is. I'm like, he's in that. I've always thought he was somehow going to be introduced as part of that. The same way that T'Chaka was introduced in Civil War. I think so.
Chris, I mean, this is pretty big for the Hollywood Reporter to come out and write stuff like this. Has this changed? I know it's changed my outlook on it a little bit. Has it changed your outlook on it? And ultimately, do you think Victor Von Doom and Latveria is going to be in this film, number one? And number two, if you do think he's in the film, is it a significant role? What do you think?
I mean, this definitely does add credibility to this kind of fan theory of, oh yeah, Doom could totally be in this. He could totally be here, because there is comic book precedent for it, of course. Norman Osborn and Namor asked T'Challa to join Doom's kind of like league of villains, and then Doom's forces beat T'Challa into a coma. Shuri takes up the mantle. There's a whole thing there. So this could be that story. I really like Rob's idea, though, of having this be that kind of geopolitical bedfellows thing of, hey, we're all small nations that are peaceful with advanced technology. We need to band together. We all need to be on the same side, and see how that all plays out.
Yeah,
I think
because
that'd be fun.
Wakanda's like, we're building embassies all over the world. We're going to tell everybody and maybe some people don't like that.
Well, I mean, there's a common political trope that's been played in a number of movies, but I mean, maybe Latveria's like, you know what? Talocan is a pretty tough place. Wakanda's a pretty tough place. Let's make them punch it out between themselves and weaken both of them. I mean, I say that as somebody who's skeptical that Doctor Doom is going to be in this, but that could be a story approach that they could take on something like this.
Because this is the last movie of Phase 4, isn't it?
I honestly, to me, the phases are just arbitrary numbers, so I don't really keep track of it.
I think this movie, because I've always said one of the things that I'm curious about is where this. I'm expecting big things in the MCU to be addressed in this movie. Just for me, not because I've heard something. I just think that they should be, and this is the place to do it. And I think if you're going to put him in there. I like that. I like the fact that Doctor Doom would be a player in the MCU before he's introduced in Fantastic Four.
See, and I have been of the mindset that when they do introduce Doctor Doom, it will be with the Fantastic Four. But again, listen, we always form our opinions based on the information we have at hand. And as new information comes in, if you're an intelligent person, you reevaluate. And I got to tell you, with all this new stuff coming in, a bunch of you guys are starting to win me over. That maybe this is the case, and maybe it is too. And you know what? Maybe he is not just makes an appearance. Maybe he's the guy in this thing. Like, I maybe a little bit more behind the curtain, but maybe he's the actual guy. Look, I do know this. If Victor Von Doom comes out on stage, because we've all been in a Marvel movie, when a character comes out or is mentioned, and you can immediately tell who in this theater reads the comics, because you get that big pop,
Yeah.
right?
It's the best.
If we're sitting in there in November, next month, and we're watching Black Panther, and Victor Von Doom walks into frame, you're going to hear a pop. Not equal to Andrew and Toby, but you're going to hear a pretty freaking radical pop. And then you're going to see some people looking around the theater going, what's the big deal? Who's this?
Or like
right?
nerds.
Nerds.
Oh, look at those nerds are cheering.
Somebody here reads, I guess.
But you nerds cheater.
You know, there are these scenes in the trailers that have perplexed me. They're on like a tanker or a cargo ship or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something's being delivered that the Talocans want.
Yeah, it always seemed a little like not Wakanda-like. Like, but wouldn't?
Oh, I don't think that's a Wakandan ship.
No, I don't either. So I'm like, what's going on there? Who's doing what to whom? What's going on? Who are these? What is this strike team that's going on to the? They don't look like the Talocan or Wakandans.
Here's my guess. My guess is, I mean, those look like it's Talocan, but I think Wakanda is sending a shipment of vibranium somewhere as a part of their goodwill and openness with the world. And I think Talocan decided, we're taking that. Thank you very much. I mean, I don't know. That's just a wild guess pulled out of my ass. I have no idea. But I mean, that scene could literally be for just about anything.
But if they did that, wouldn't they fly it over under guard?
Probably.
I wonder what if Doom is just kind of instigating things between them, because we see Wakanda being
That's what I'm
flooded in this too.
thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's a shit disturber. It's like, oh, did you poke a little poke? Oh,
Exactly.
Did you see him poke you? Like,
Yeah.
And what if it's a mystery? Like
Yeah.
we don't know, and they finally team up. Namor teams up with Wakanda, and they're like, who's doing this? And it's a great, like, very Tom Clancy-esque, Bond-esque reveal. Something like that.
all right. And Nufo is saying in the live chat, I'm surprised John didn't get leaked photos of Black Panther 2. Who says I didn't? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, guys, I think this is major. Again, remember, this is not coming from some Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart blog like the John Campea show or other YouTube channels. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. And we have seen examples like this in the past where they damn well knew, because later we find out everything. So I don't know. Maybe I'm changing my mind on this. What do you guys think about this? Does this coming out of the Hollywood Reporter move the needle for you on whether or not you think Doctor Doom will even be in the movie? And aside from just maybe an appearance, maybe could be a key player in it. Couple that with Huerta's comments that, by the way, Namor's not the villain. I mean, I don't know. Where does your imagination go? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.